you are probably listening to this deep dive right now, sitting inside a building somewhere. Yeah, or maybe driving in a car, right? Driving on a paved road or walking down a sidewalk poured from concrete, just completely surrounded by modern infrastructure. Exactly. You look around and you see power lines, you see steel bridges, glass skyscrapers, and it feels permanent. Really does. You naturally feel this profound sense of permanence, like the modern world is just this unshakable fortress, which is completely understandable. But, what if I told you that just a few thousand years ago, there were civilizations that were just as confident as ours? Societies that engineered literally impossible monuments. Yeah, monuments that spanned entire continents, and they were completely, irrevocably erased. Swiped off the map. Welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Pull up a chair. Because today, we are going to completely shatter the timeline of human history you learned in school. We really are, and it's a necessary shattering. Yeah, why is that? Well, we walk around with this immense inherited arrogance, I think. We look at the trajectory of humanity as this clean, unbroken upward staircase, right? The classic textbook timeline. Exactly. We start as primitive hunter gatherers, then we figure out how to plant wheat, build small farming villages, and those turn into towns, and eventually modern cities, right? It's comforting because it implies that we are the ultimate, inevitable pinnacle of this stable process. But when you actually dig into the source material we're looking at today, I mean, these massive compilations of geological records and archaeological anomalies, the staircase completely collapses. It does. The soil beneath our feet tells a totally different, honestly, vastly more terrifying story. It's a story of diagnostic muddy waters. I mean, the earth keeps its own ledger. It really doesn't care about our linear models. So, what are we looking at today specifically? Well, we're going to explore two deeply intertwined realities. First, the monumental, mathematically impossible structures built right here in North America by people who, according to our middle school textbooks, shouldn't have been able to build them. Exactly. And second, the cataclysmic events that have routinely wiped entire civilizations away, either in a single afternoon of violent terror or, through centuries of quiet, suffocating drought, right? By the end of this conversation, listener, I promise you, you are going to look at the ground beneath your feet and the rain falling from the sky completely differently. You'll see human history not as a stable platform, but as a series of incredibly lucky near misses. Yeah. But to even understand how easily a civilization can vanish, we have to start by looking at how surprisingly early they began. We have to look at the rulebook, right? The agriculture myth. Let's talk about that formula every academic institution relied on for a century. The standard agricultural model. It basically says you cannot build monuments until you have a massive surplus of food, right? And you can't get a massive surplus until you invent agriculture, planting grains, domesticating herds. Because that grain sits in a granary, which frees up people from having to hunt every single day. And that leisure time is what allows for specialized labor, right? Exactly. Stonemasons, priests, architects. Without farms, no specialized labor. Without specialized labor, no pyramids. It's a very clean equation. It is. And it's an equation that the North American archaeological record absolutely annihilates. Okay, let's start with a site in Louisiana. Watson Break. Set the scene for us. When are we talking? We are looking at roughly 3,500 BCE. Wow. Yeah, which is a date that fundamentally cracks the timeline. To put 3,500 BCE into perspective, that is almost a full millennium before anyone started dragging stones for Stonehenge. Wait, really? 1,000 years before Stonehenge? Yes. And it's nearly 2,000 years before the Great Pyramid of Giza was even conceived.